Good morning, bedheads. Click. What? My words were on the wrong side. There you go. Stay grounded. Click. Yes. Hi, Lucy. Lucy's here too. Karen from Ask the Spirit Guides. I hope you guys are doing well today. Yes, Lewis. Come on. Come on. Sorry, you guys. This is a thing. Yeah. Okay, so I wanted to talk today about the issue of, and I've got the rods, but we'll use these in a little bit. I wanted to talk about the Trump National Guard, sending them out to LA, in Washington, D.C., and now it looks like they're moving them down the East Coast, okay? So one of the things that I want to continue to do here is, even though we're still looking at 3D issues, what I want to do is have conversations that help us understand from a different perspective of what's going on, okay? So the report I've run for us today is just a little bit about the situation. I want to look at these types of issues because this is what helps me to understand exactly what's going on so that we don't have to sit in fear about things. But I want to look at, is this a typical authoritarian playbook move? Okay, so we're going to look at that a little bit as part of the just looking at the situation, okay? But then I want to look at the astrology and how does the astrology match what is happening politically, but also the situation itself and the pushback on it, okay? So we're going to take a little deeper dive into the astrology about that, okay? And then we're going to tie in the pendulum messages that the Lead Team Collective has given us for the month of September. So we're going to tie that into the situation to help us understand what does the lead team want us to be thinking about with regards to this situation. Just because it helps me to keep calm about this and keep things in perspective, even though the Trump administration doesn't want us keeping things in perspective. They want us in fear about it for sure. Okay. So then I'm just kind of curious. I did run part of the report with Mabel. What is the long game? If they were blocked, what does 5 years look like from now? Okay. I'm just kind of curious. Then we have 20 questions that I'm going to ask the SGs, the Lead Team Collective, about this particular situation to help us, again, keep it in perspective. Okay, so that's really my goal. So we're going to just continue tying in the 3D with the spirituality to see what guidance for different situations that might be invoking some fear in us, because this topic freaks me out a little bit. This whole, I'm like, what are they doing? So I wanted to understand it better. And I thought, well, if I'm going to understand it better, I might as well chat about it with you guys. Okay. Okay. So let's take a look. And obviously, if you have more information, let me know. Put it in the comments. If you have other perspectives, put it in the comments. If there are other topics that you're feeling uneasy about, let me know, and I can do a similar report and we can chat about it. Okay. Okay. So basically, again, this is about Trump. Well, it's so weird because how much is this really Trump? I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think this is more Heritage Foundation, Project 2025, Stephen Miller, Peter Thiel. I think, is it, who else? Oh, what's that guy's name? I think it's Peter Voigt. Is that his name? Peter Voigt? Andrew Voigt? I don't remember his name. Anyways, I'm kind of thinking I would like to do I want to dig a little deeper into Stephen Miller, see what the hell, what the F is he all about? Because I don't know, I have a sense that guy is like the low of the low vibration. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. So I might do an SG on like, let's learn a little bit about Stephen Miller and what his deal is. Like, I'd love to know even like how he grew up, who he grew up with, what his background is, ask the lead team. So I don't know. Let me know if you guys think that would be an interesting session. But okay, so this again is about the National Guard deployment that's been going on, obviously, over the last couple months. Okay, so this is as of September 3rd. So new information obviously was pulled as of December 3rd. So I'm not going back like to the LA stuff. It's about what's kind of currently going on. All right. So Trump announced plans to send national troops, Guard troops, to Chicago and Baltimore. So now Baltimore's on the table, calling them hellhole cities with high crime. So that's their excuse. Okay. A federal judge ruled this early deployment to Los Angeles illegal. Okay, so that's good news. Legal experts warn these moves echo dangerous historical overreach. In Washington, D.C., Trump had already declared a crime emergency and deployed Guard troops despite crime rates being at a historic low. So that's the part that has, got me wondering what's really going on here. All right. Chicago officials, the governor and the mayor, are mobilizing protests and lawsuits to block Trump's orders. So they're getting obviously prepared for this. Thousands have already taken to the street. So I wanted to look, like I said, at what does the history tell us about a move like this? Is it just in my mind that this is an authoritarian fascism tactic? Is it something that I'm just, because I just think everything they do now is in that direction? But I wanted to really know. I wanted to make sure I wasn't just looking at them constantly as if this is what they're really doing. Okay. So I thought that is a helpful perspective to bring in the history, the research that people have done about authoritarianism and fascism. Okay. Because obviously they're telling people, like I can imagine my biological father who watches Newsmax thinking that Fox News, he dumped Fox News because they're liars and now watches Newsmax. So that's great. Which is probably just as bad or worse. But I'm sure he's like thrilled that they're going into Chicago. I have other people in my family I'm sure are thrilled they're going into Chicago because they think it is full of crime. Okay, well maybe it is, but are they using this as an excuse? Okay, and what's the reasoning behind it? So the tactic in the past is to militarize public space so that fear equals control. Okay, so that's what authoritarians have done in the past. Okay, so that would be the reason for it. Why might they be doing it now when legitimacy falters? So like legitimate reasons for them staying in power, basically. It's their way of showing force. Okay. So Putin did this in Russia, and they did this in Hungary and Brazil during union crackdowns as well. Okay, and both of those, it's interesting. I do know Hungary, whoever is I know his name, but I can't think of it right now. The leader I wouldn't even call him a leader, the dictator at this point. Orban. So I think he was elected in 2013 and rewrote their constitution. So, and he's still in office, 2025, which is interesting because I went to Hungary about three years ago. I was in Budapest and it was fine. Like it was, I didn't realize that actually their country was being run by a dictator. I didn't realize that. I mean, they were pretty close. I mean, it was, when Ukraine and Russia was starting, but I didn't, and that was fine. I mean, they were close, but I was like, well, they're not in Hungary, but I had no idea. So, I don't know. Society is interesting, isn't it? So we have this idea of what an authoritarian government would be doing. I mean, my understanding is they're basically just going to steal all of our money, and then they just, if there's any protests, they'll be able to deploy the National Guard. Okay, so weak spots in authoritarianism takeover is courts can bar it. Okay, so we have that action going on. Governors can refuse order, so we have that going on, which is good. And public backlash can turn optics into weakness. This is why I feel like, as you might too, that this is an authoritarian tactic, because they are sending troops into blue cities when the crime rate is higher in red cities. Okay. And Newsom did a press conference recently holding up the facts. He had these little posters. I mentioned this the other day in Coffee with Karen. He had these little posters, and he was holding up the facts on different cities that were run by Republican senators or governors. And he's like, well, why are you sending them into these cities when these have a higher, well, at least into LA, these cities had a higher crime rate. Okay. So, that's how this is fishy, because why are they only sending them into blue cities at this point? So Project 2025 link here calls for federal control over state guards. So state National Guards. So that would be part of the tactic, is to try to control what the federal government wants to do, if this is what they're trying to do. And we'll find out from the lead team. Okay. Is they're trying to take over the National Guard in each of the states so that they have full control within the states too. Okay. So they're trying to test to see how can they get this done. All right. If normalized, it sidelines governors. Okay. So governors then don't have any say, and rewrites U.S. balance of power. So that's really what the motive of Project 2025 would be. Okay. So let's look at the astrology. I think this is really interesting. So why this move makes sense now in terms of astrological forces, the skies, let's just say. Okay. Astrology favors dramatic, rash stunts right now when leaders feel cornered. So our leader, so what it's saying to me, the astrology right now, is our leader is feeling cornered. I hate calling him a leader. He's not a leader. So he is feeling cornered. So this is a dramatic, rash stunt, which the skies are, that would be something that the skies would be activating at this point. People mistake military presence for safety under current cycles. Okay, so because of the astrology, there will be some people who are mistakenly thinking that he's there for safety rather than, control, basically. Okay, what could succeed because of the astrology? Short-term optics. Trump looks strong to his base. I wonder if he is. I mean, we can ask that. I hope that we'll see if that's a question. I might forget to ask that, but okay. Fear narratives work for some. Base rallies around military show. Okay, so that could succeed based on the astrology. But what won't last, because of the way the skies are aligning right now, is rash energy backfires quickly. So that's really good. U.S. chart favors, so that I look at the U.S. natal chart, okay, when the U.S. was born, essentially, favors power struggles. Resistance will rise, though. So it does favor power struggles, but with resistance rising. Courts and governors cosmically aligned to say no. So that's good. They're cosmically aligned to say no. So that's really positive. Overreach sparks stronger backlash. Okay. So we know now that the skies are kind of in favor. I mean, yeah, it's allowing, I mean, it's actually bringing out rash decisions, but also a lot of pushback and a lot of resistance. So that's really good. Okay. The big picture is this is smoke and mirrors. Looks like power, but astrology points to collapse. Wah, 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 wah. So that's really cool. This is why I wanted to start talking about these things, the 3D, from let's get some perspective on this. All right. So we can, that's why I picked this mug today. Stay grounded. Look at how bright orange my background just got. Click. Okay. Let's see. So the pendulum, so we had 6 messages for September. The pendulum messages, if you saw the September energy report. I also am sending out the energy reports now in the newsletter. That's actually going to be the primary. So if you want the energy reports in the news, in writing, so that you don't have to take notes, so I probably will, I'll try to do, depending on if there's other things to talk about, I'll try to do an energy report once a week, and then at the end of the month and the beginning of the month. Okay. So that we can take a look back and a look forward. So about once a week, maybe towards the end of the month, you might get 2 emails. But if you want to sign up, there's a QR code right here in the corner. And those are free. So you don't, it's free to sign up. You don't have to, we'll let you know. I mean, we'll let you know when we have different sales going on too. Like we're still running our Labor Day sale for our mug shop, which QR code is right there. So 40% off. I don't know how long we're going to run it for. It's going to be a surprise. I have no idea. We haven't talked about it. So, but it's Labor Day sale, so probably not too long. But I'll put the descriptions, the links in the description as well. Okay, so yeah, so you're going to get energy reports in the email from now on. So it has like affirmations and how, you could be looking at things astrologically and, things that are going on. Okay, so really, really helpful. So there were 6 pendulum messages for the month of September so far. I'm going to do additional pendulum messages probably starting next week, so we get more current ones. But for this situation, there are 5 of the 6 pendulum messages were pulled for perspective. Okay, so the first one, just breathe, don't be pulled into fear about this situation, is really the interpretation for the pendulum messages. Okay, you will be just fine was one of the other second pendulum message. Checks are in place. Okay, so checks are in place based on this situation. Okay, Trump is losing his mind was another pendulum message. Impulsive. So this situation, the deployment of the National Guard in different cities, is impulsive and not stable. Okay, losing their grip. This situation is showing weakness, not strength. And keep a hold of the light. Again, these are messages from our teams. Communities steady themselves. Okay, so what they're suggesting is communities around this particular situation, we are steadying ourselves. We already know LA did it. Amazing. The governor in Illinois is amazing, and he's a billionaire, so he knows the tricks these guys are playing. So what concerns me is that they're like the Union Station thing. I think they're starting to look at other, what they want is they just want to deploy. They want to literally have National Guard sitting so there's just military control all over the place. What I find interesting, though, that when I was in Hungary, there was no, he might only be using it during different situations, but I didn't see any extra military around at all at the stations, nothing. So It may be just like a beginning authoritarian playbook tactic. I'm not sure. Okay. So what to watch for: emergency lawsuits in Chicago and Baltimore, governors refusing National Guard handovers, union or veteran groups speaking out, protests at stations, city halls, and public squares. I know there was a protest in Chicago at Trump Tower, so I hope they keep that up. Media framing law and order versus authoritarian optics. So I'm not listening to the media at all. I'm not even, now that I'm doing this is more comfortable to me than even watching progressive media on YouTube. So hopefully this is helpful for some of you as well. You'll have to let me know. Okay, is it worth your time to hear about this in terms of the 3D and just having some perspective on it? Let me know if this is worth your time, okay, to hear this. Because that's, I'm going to run it for myself anyways. But if it's not worth your time and it's not helpful, then I don't want to do it here on the channel. Okay, we'll find something else to do. Okay. Any escalations could look like curfews, arrests, wider deployments. So we'll just keep an eye on that. Okay. So long-term, 5-year, if unblocked, long-term, I was like, well, what could this mean? What will life look like 5 years from now if this is unblocked? I was just curious, okay? President gains control, routine control over the National Guard. So that's really what they would be trying to do. If this is in fact, which again, we'll ask the lead team in a minute, if this is in fact a kind of takeover, okay, of authoritarianism, basically. Troops normalize as at protests, stations, and polling places, because so they can bring fear so people don't protest anymore, things that they want to do. Unions and workers silenced by fear, civil liberties narrowed, protest boxed out, basically. Again, that sounds like that's what Orban did in Hungary and apparently in Brazil. Is Brazil run as fascism at this point? I'm not 100% sure. I don't know much about that. Local leaders sidelined, and order becomes an excuse for stripping freedom. So we want order, right? We want things to be in order. So, and I, honestly, like I can think of my biological dad, and some of you know the history behind that over the last 9 months, but who's a MAGA, but I can see him appreciating that happening in Chicago and other places because of the crime, how he perceives the crime there. It's not like he's ever experienced the crime. It's just what he's been told the crime is, So, I don't know. Okay, so the big picture is this is a classic authoritarian stage move. Muscle to mask weakness. So use muscle to mask their weaknesses. All right. Astrology plus the pendulum both say this is an overreach, not strength. So that's amazing. To me, that's really good perspective. And public, legal, and cosmic forces, so the skies, align towards pushback. Okay, so we're not settling. People aren't going to be settling. So I think, we can take, this seems to me like, I don't know, tell me what you think. I feel after reading this, and we're going to listen now and see what they have to say, just to make sure that we can kind of take a little bit of a chill pill on this particular situation, but we can keep looking at it going forward, okay? So the bottom line is this is a show of force, not real control. Grip is slipping. So the more they do this, it means probably that their grip is slipping. Okay, because Trump's numbers are super low. So they're probably trying to do this because it is slipping. Courts, governors, and communities have the tools to block it. Whoop, whoop. That's awesome. Hey, whoop, whoop, slap. I was telling my husband the other day that I was doing this whoop, whoop, slap, because that's a mug. You guys, you got to get the slap mug. it's Trump's face, and it's a big hand slapping his face. I should have put a thing over his ear. Oh, I should have. Darn. Anyways, you got to get that mug, you guys, in our mug shop. Mug shop. Whoop whoop slap. Okay. So let's go ahead. I think I'm just going to do the SGs right here, you guys. But I am going to do a quick introduction so I can just run this part in case people just want to hear the SG part about this. I'm going to do that right now, a little introduction. Okay, so thank you for joining me with Coffee with Karen. Okay, so let's go ahead. Hello, everybody. Karen from Ask the Spirit Guides. We are going to ask the Lead Team Collective 20 questions regarding the deployment of National Guard. Why, basically, I want to find out the truth behind what the Trump administration is doing. What's the point of them doing this besides crime? Is it really just crime? And if it is, fine. Even though, DC has the lowest crime rate right now that it's had for a while. So we're going to find out. Okay, so we're going to ask the lead team. If you are new to the channel and you're wondering what these are all about, I will have a Start Here playlist that I'll pop up after this video right here. Okay. Okay. And I did go over in Coffee with Karen that this is my second half of Coffee with Karen. Thank you for everyone who joined me, but I did go over the scenario, like what's going on, the astrology behind what's going on, how we could be looking at this rather than being afraid of what they're doing because of the astrology. It's kind of quite helpful. So if you didn't catch the full episode, we'll call it, with Coffee with Karen, I'll go ahead and post that right here. So you can catch that if you want to catch, the first 25 minutes where we kind of talk about the situation a little bit more in depth. Okay. Okay. So I haven't done the dowsing rods. I'm going to push you back a little bit. I haven't done the dowsing rods from this angle before. So let's see what it's like. Okay. All right, so I close my aura to all but my higher self, the God consciousness, my guides, guardians, and only those of the highest and purest light, including the Lead Team Collective, and ask Archangel Michael to please protect my channel, your channel, our community, the Lead Team Collective, so it is only of the highest and purest light. Amen. Okay, hello Lead Team and my Spirit Team. How's it going today? I always feel like I have to ask them how they're doing. Why not? Okay. Thank you as always for your love, kindness, support, guidance. We really appreciate it. If you guys haven't had a chance to thank your own team today, now is a good time to do it. And if you want to send some gratitude to the lead team, that'd be amazing as well. Okay, so hey lead team. How you doing today? Awesome. Okay, so we've got about 20 questions we're curious about regarding the National Guard deployment on blue cities, basically, and wonder if, I feel like I need to, sorry. Again, this is the first time I'm doing it from over here. I hope you don't fall. You guys, if you saw my little setup here, you'd crack up. You're literally sitting, my computer is sitting on a big basket on a little end table. It's pretty good. I think the height is pretty good though. Okay. All right. I'll fix my shirt. Okay. So lead team, anything in front of me that is not in our best interest to know? Is there any questions? No? Okay. Awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and find out what's going on. All right, question number 1. Is this deployment really about safety to DC? Let's start with DC. No. Union Station in DC? No. Chicago? No. Baltimore? No. Okay, that's good to know. Do Trump and his allies have a hidden motive in placing troops at train stations? Yes. Okay. Is this a test to see if people will accept militarization in everyday life? Yep. Well, it's interesting. I mean, here they, again, they lie to say that it's about safety. So then, if it is about safety, then you might go, okay, well, so then, yeah, people would accept it for that reason, but not, for other reasons, bunch of stinkers, to put it mildly, bunch of stinkers. Okay. Will governors stand up like Newsom? Will other governors stand up like Newsom and refuse Trump's orders? Yes. Okay, so we understand that there's a federal judge who said it's illegal. Is that correct? Yes. Will the same happen in Illinois? Yes. Will the same happen in Baltimore? Yes. Okay, good. Are the courts strong enough to block this power grab? Yes. Great. Okay. Is this part of Project 2025's plan to centralize control? Yes, they want to basically, so their plan is to take over the National Guard in all the states so that they have control at a federal level? Yes. Okay. Will ordinary people see through the show of force? I was kind of curious about this. Yes. Okay. Will MAGA see through the show of force? Oh, good. Yes. Okay, well, that's good to know. Okay. Could union leaders play a key role in pushing back? Yes. Okay. Do the National Guard members themselves feel uneasy being used this way? Well, the question is, do they actually see it though? Like, do most of them get what Trump is doing? Oh, they do. Okay, that's the interesting part. Okay, yes. Okay, that's great. Okay, let's see. Will images of troops and stations hurt Trump more than help him? Yes. Good. Is this another sign that Trump is losing his grip on reality? Yes. Oh boy, oh boy. Does this show that fear is his only tool left? Yes, but you know what? I don't even, I don't know. I don't feel fear about it. I feel like, been there, done that type of thing in terms of history. Like, I actually, for me, feel like it's a total sign of weakness. Like, again, I'm just like the slap, the slap mug, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. My fear of all this stuff is reducing, I'm going to say, because I just think they're just ridiculous. They're just totally ridiculous. To think that they could try to do this in America, and maybe I'm naive. The fact that they're trying to do this in the U.S. is just ridiculous. But that is maybe my privilege, I don't know, and how Americans see themselves. Maybe other countries, maybe Hungary felt the same way. Maybe they felt the same way before Orban was able to do that, Well, let me ask, so is this situation in America, so are Americans and the U.S. Constitution, is it different than how Hungary was set up before Orban was able to take control? It's not. Okay, so it's not different. Okay. However, is the Trump administration as capable, let's say, as the Orban situation? I think it was Orban, isn't his name? Is he as capable as the Orban? Oh, okay, no. What about those like Peter Voigt or Stephen Miller? Are they as capable as those? No. Okay. Okay. So the Orban administration was stronger in how they did this. They were more, wise, I guess, about how they pulled off the authoritarian government. Yes. Okay. Well, that's interesting. I think that's what it is, Trump. What a joke. He's such a... Oh my gosh. Taco. You just, the guy has not done anything actually effective in most of his entire life. So that's why, Okay, let's see. What question was I on? Will America's allies lose more trust in U.S. democracy after this? Ew, yes. Okay, well, that sucks. That's going to have to be part of the buildup, right? Is this deployment meant to distract from Trump's legal troubles? No. Okay, so it is not tied to his legal troubles? No. All right. Will these tactics collapse under their own weight? Yay, yes. Okay. Could this mark the end of Project 2025's military agenda? Yes. Well, the question is how far are they going to be able to get with it? We might have to revisit this. Are they going to be able to, are they actually going to send troops into Chicago? Yes. Are they going to deploy troops into Baltimore? Yes. Is it going to go further than that? Yes. Okay. So this situation is far from over at this point? Yes. But they will be, along the way, they'll be collapsing? Yes. Okay. Well, that's good. Okay. So that means, let's hang tight on this. Keep everything grounded. Stay grounded. For those of you who weren't here with Coffee with Karen, I'm using my Stay Grounded mug today. Just stay as grounded as you can on this situation. That's why I wanted to talk about this, because I wasn't feeling too grounded about it. So anytime I'm not feeling too grounded about something, I'm going to do this perspective conversation and then ask the lead team. Okay. So if there's other things you're not feeling too grounded about, maybe we'll just say it like that. Then let me know in the comments. Okay. And I can, if it tends to be like a bigger situation that other people might be interested in too, we can go ahead and talk about that. Okay. Are women and community leaders the ones who will steady people through this? Yes. Divine Feminine Rising. Okay. Will history look back on this as Trump overplaying his hand? Oh, good. Yes. Yes. Does the U.S. Pluto return, which is astrology, guarantee that authoritarian force cannot fully win? Yes. Okay, good. So astrology, the skies at this point, is not in favor, or are the skies in favor of Trump's authoritarian takeover at this point? No. Okay, thank goodness. Okay, so we've got that for us, you guys. Okay, is this deployment proof that they are losing, not winning? Yes. Okay. Okay, very helpful. This was very helpful for me. I hope it was helpful for you. Let me know other issues you want to try to stay grounded on that we can dig into a little bit. And again, this was a short one for the Ask the Spirit Guides, but if you want to catch the full conversation, which I think was really helpful for staying grounded, then you can go ahead and click right there right now. All right, we'll see you later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.